tell us how you and your family found yourself in Newport.
Well, public service and community engagement has been a through line throughout my entire life. It is a core value that was instilled to me as a child growing up. My father was a refugee to this country from Laos. My mother was a community health practitioner. And so serving in the community that gave us a lot of opportunity has been a core part of who I am. And so whether it has been volunteering on boards for nonprofits and community organizations, chairing the state's largest drinking water utility, or running for office and serving locally, these are all things that are consistent reflections of the commitment I've always had in my life to community service. And that's also because I enjoy it. This is work that I find rewarding. It is difficult, it is challenging, but at the end of the day, it makes a difference and I enjoy it. So I'm constantly thinking about ways to be more impactful in the things I'm doing. I never thought, with such an unusual name, that having my name on a ballot would be something that was possible, never mind palatable, that people would actually vote for, but was blown away by the reception that I had here in Newport. The first time I ran, I did it the same way that most people run for office. I got out and I knocked on doors and I walked every single street in the city. And I spent a lot of time not telling voters what it was that I cared about, but listening to what voters cared about. And the end result in the election was an unprecedented margin of victory in that race as a first time candidate with a name that nobody could pronounce. That was a reflection of a community I think really felt the value of being heard and really cared about ensuring that the future reflected the changes that are necessary for this community to continue to be a great place to live and work.
Yeah, I wondered if you had to have larger lawn signs, pay extra for printing with that name.
I had a reporter ask recently, it said, why do you spend so much time, focused on the fundraising aspect, which as candidates is the worst part of the job, right? And I was like, well, they charge you by the name by the letter on these lawn signs. So, you got to make sure you have the funds to run. The fundraising is an unfortunate part of running for office for most of us, particularly in places like Rhode Island, where the matching public funds programs don't kick in until you run statewide. And so it is an important exercise to undertake, particularly if you're a candidate who needs to push to get your name out so voters understand and recognize who you are.
Yeah, I mean, what's your advice for someone who's thinking about running? They may have an unusual name or a background, a non-traditional background, and they want to connect with people in their community. What's your advice from the very tactical of you got to raise some money to running the campaign itself?
You have to be methodical about what you're doing and you have to be intentional. Just like going to the gym or preparing for a big test, you need to make sure that you are very disciplined in getting out, knocking on doors, and reaching out to raise money. Raising money isn't just about raising funds so you can communicate out your message. The actual act of raising money requires you to put yourself out there and to listen to people and to help build the network that you have that ultimately helps you get elected. The second part is to listen. As Democrats, we spend a lot of time talking. And while we may talk an awful lot, oftentimes we're finding we're not actually saying all that much. Uh, it's way more effective to listen to what voters are saying, to make sure that they understand that you care about the issues that they are articulating to you, and to work really hard to find solutions on the things that they indicate to you are important.